What is up, guys? And everyone here, coming at you with my Cyberse deck profile. Now, I know that I've been a little bit too late in that regard, and you saw all those videos already. Like, you probably just sick to see those Cyberse videos already, but I just promised this deck profile, so I'm going to post it, and I'm going to do it rather quick, so you're not going to get bored. But one thing I want to say is, like, this deck is not at its full power, unfortunately, because we're missing some cards that TCG has, and like a structure deck that's going to come to them at like probably next month, I believe, at the start of next month. The power card link, I believe it's called, something like that. It's giving them a little bit more Cyberse, more power. I don't believe Cyberse are like something competitive, that high competitive, but it's still a really fun deck. It's probably like a tier 2-ish deck, even less. And this deck is pretty much like, how should I say it? It's like, I really like this deck because it's like a lot of archetypes in the Vrain era kind of like slow the game a little bit down, which I actually kind of like a little bit. I don't 100% sure if I like it all for everything, but I like the idea of like slowing a little bit pace of the game. But without further ado, let's get started with this deck profile, and I will stop talking about some nonsense that you don't want to hear. So to start things off, we're gonna run 2 copies of Linkslayer, which is basically your one of your, you could say, old cards from the starter deck. This card, what it does, if you control no monsters, is basically a Photon Trasher, so you can special summon it from the hand, and then you can discard up to 2 cards and destroy the same number of spells and traps on the field, which is really cool, and it's really nice. Next up, from the starter deck, we are on double copies of Ram Clouder. Now this card is pretty ridiculous, because this card lets you to tribute any monster, and then you can just special summon a Cyberse monster from the graveyard. So you can even special summon a Firewall Dragon, which in my opinion is kind of a ridiculous thing. So this card is not that strong, but like if you get it on the board and you tribute a Firewall, and then you return the Firewall because you have another Cyberse in your graveyard, you're basically getting Firewall effect again, which is, in my opinion, insane. And that's pretty much it for that. And then next up, we're going to run triple copies of Draconet, and then the triple copies of the Digitron. Now, Digitron, in my opinion, is better than Bitron because it has higher attack, so yeah, that's my logic behind that. But as you guys know, Draconet is one card linked to monster, because when normal summon this card, you basically get a normal monster from level 2 or normal monster from your hand or deck, which is really cool. I don't think I need to play more than 3 copies, so that's why I'm not playing like 4, like 2 Digitron and 2 Bitrons, like a lot of other people, so just I'm sticking with those 3, sorry. And I think Digitron is a lot more better because it have higher attack than Bitron, so I'm kind of like sticking to the same idea of like a Garnet, when you like want to have the monster with the highest attack to just like, I can put it on the board and just like attack for game. Sometimes it really help you to end the game, so yeah, that's why I like this. And I'm feeling like I'm kind of like continue talking on about nothing, but yeah, 3 copies of Digitron, that's my decision. Next up, for the other support from the structure deck, the new one, we get 3 copies of Balancer Lord. Now, in my opinion, Balancer Lord is the best Cyberse monster up to date. Like, it's the best Cyberse monster. This card has the ability to give you the ability to double summon, which really cool, and when you get banished, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower from your hand, which both of these effects you can only gain both of them once per turn. So that's pretty much it for that. Next up, we're on triple copies of Boot Staggered, which in my opinion, you might want to cut this down to 2, because this card is really cool, but it can get cloggy because its effect is when you normal summon Cyberse monsters, a monster, not monsters, you get to special summon this card from your hand. You can only use the effects once per turn, of course. And then when he inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you get to special summon a stag token, which is, again, really cool. But I still think it could get cloggy, because it's just like that. It just could get cloggy if you don't see one of your monsters that you can normal summon. So I'm not 100% sure about him at 3, but for now it's working quite well. Next up, we're going to run double copies of Rome Claudia. in my opinion, is worse than Ram Clouder, even though a lot of people are going to disagree with me, because when you normal summon this, you get like a card back to your hand, which I think it's really, really cool, but its effect is not that good. Like, it's need to be destroyed, so like you need to bash into something in order to activate its second effect. And its first effect, it's nice to work with Firewall, but I think I like Ram Clouder, sorry, not Ram Cloudia, Ram Clouder better, because Ram Clouder, it just lets you revive just by distributing a card, which is, in my opinion, is much better. Next up, for the other cards we were running in the deck, we were running double copies of Backup Secretary, and then one copy of Linking Flyer. And that's pretty much it for the special summoning monsters. Those are the two special summoning monsters, well, free monsters that you can just special summon from your hand for free. This one, you need to have a monster that point anywhere, like, you know, a link monster that point anywhere. You can even special summon this card to a zone a link monster point to, so you can even point that your opponent point to. So, like, if your opponent have, like, a decode target that point to one of your zones, you can special summon this card to that zone. Now, this card is basically... you can special summon it when you control Cyberse. So I think like this one is probably a little bit more better, but I don't want to play free because it's stuck in my hand. And then for the three last cards, which from the monsters lineup, I'm going to play one copy of Dot Scrapper, one copy of Stuck Reviver, and then one copy of Backup Linker. Now, Dot Scraper, I think it's pretty much obvious why I'm playing it. Stuck Reviver might actually not be so much obvious, because like we still don't have Cyverse Gadget, but I still think it's really, really cool so you can combo it with Firewall Dragon, because you can just like keep linking and then just like go out, not go out, but like tag out cards in a way, like linking again, and like, you know, you take cards from the Firewall Dragon link markers, and then it lets you special summon monsters, so you can use this and another monster and then get the monster back afterwards, so it's really, really cool as well. And then Backlinker is just here to be an extra way to just special summon if your opponent control an extra deck monster, and just a way to get rid of annoying extra deck monsters, so it's really, really cool. I think at 1 it's pretty good. And that's pretty much it for the monsters. It's pretty expected. Cyverse have a bit of a chunk of a monster because there are decks that focus on that. And that's it for monsters. Now if we move on to spells. So first off, we want to run triple copies of Signet Backdoor. Now this card is really cool, help you dodge removal and help you search. The only downside of it, I think, is the idea of like, you can only search a monster with a lowest attack than the monster you targeted, which in my opinion, kind of dumb, but it is what it is. Next up, we're going to run triple copies of Gold Shark because it does search and it does trigger Balancer Lord and Dot Scrapper, so I think it's really, really cool and not need more explanation. And then I'm running 2 copies of Scapegoat. I'm not going to explain that, you already know that. I don't like to run 3 because it does clog, so that's why I'm running just 2. And then I'm running 1 copy of Soul Charge and 2 copies of Shuffle Reborn, because those 2 cards, 3 cards actually, I like Soul Charge once again, not need an explanation, but Shuffle Reborn can be like a free card and just a free special summon for monsters of yours, so it's really, really cool, and I really like this card at 2. And then double copies of Cosmic Cyclone to just get rid of those annoying back rows. This deck, its only problem is back row, so that's because of that I'm running double back row. You could run also, like, if you don't like some of the cards here, you can just cut this down to 1 and run like a Raigeki, or even cut this card completely and run Freak Scapegoats. Once again, I'm saying Scapegoats is cool, but the problem with Scapegoats is you need to control no monsters. Sorry. You cannot special summon all monsters. I'm sorry. I just tripped for a second. But, like, yeah, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, which in my opinion, kind of dumb. And because of that, I think it's actually pretty good that this restriction is there. But you know what I mean? It's just, like, it's kind of dumb to, like, open up 3 of this and, like, you know, stuck with Scapegoats for, I don't know what, so many times. So, just because of that, I'm running just 2. And that's pretty much it for the spells. And now free traps, I'm running double copies of Cyberse Beacon and then 1 copy of Recorded Alive. Now, Cyberse Beacon is just another search for a Cyberse monster, and when you take damage, I really think it's not the best searching card, but we don't have enough searching cards for now, so I'm just feeling we need this. So because of that, I'm running it, but like in the future, I'm probably going to cut it down to 1, if not even completely. And Recorded Alive, we just here at 1 because I can banish like link-free Cyberse monster and just like get a Decon Talker out on my field, which is really, really cool. You can once again cut this card, but like I just think it's really, really cool. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. Now we'll move on to the extra deck. So to start things off with the extra deck, first off for your Link 1s, I'm running 3 copies of Link Spider, the only Link 1 you need, and I think you need 3 Link Spiders because I just burned this extra deck so quickly with Link Spiders, and I think like Link Spider is one of the most important cards, and because of that I'm running at 3. When we get Link Karibo, it's probably going to change to like 2 Link Spiders and 1 Link Karibo or something like that, but of course I'm meaning when we get the Link Karibo to every one of us, and it's not going to be a promo, so that's what I mean. Then, the next 2 cards are probably going to be pretty much understandable. 2 Proxy Dragons because it's Proxy Dragons. 1 Honeybot because I like the card and it's a Cyberse deck. 1 Binary Sources because it's Help You OTK, and once again, I like the card and it's a Cyberse deck. And then this card probably going to seem odd, but once again, I like the card. It's Akashic Magician. Now, Akashic Magician probably going to be cut and just put in other deck, but this just could be really, really cool to just once again get rid of a problematic monster. And for now, it's okay. So because of that, I'm running this card at 1. In the future, once again, I'm going to say probably going to get cut, but once again, I like the card. And that's pretty much it for the Link 2s. For the Link 3s, you want to run 1 copy of Trigate Wizard. I don't need to explain that. 1 copy of Encode Talker and 1 copy of Decon Talker. I don't think you need more than those because Decon Talker is really, really cool, but like I don't go to one of it in the more than one in the game because like this deck, once again, I'm saying its capabilities are not that good right now. I'm hoping it will be better in the future, so because of that, I'm running just 1 and 1. In my opinion, it's pretty cool. You can cut this card down if you don't like it, but I like it, and I just like the OTK potential, and because of that, I'm running also an Encode Talker. And then for the other Link 3, I'm running 1 copy of Nigrisu. I would run probably a Gaia Saber if I had it, but I don't. So because of that, I'm also running a Akashic Magician. So Nigrisu is actually really cool, and because of that, I'm running him. And then for the Link 4s, I'm running 1 Topologic Bomber Dragon, because it's really cool to get rid of monsters. 1 copy of Firewall. I don't think you need more than 1, even though it's a Cyberse deck, because I rarely, even in playtesting in YGR Pro and all those places, I never go to more than 1. Just never, because this deck don't have the cap. Once again, I'm feeling I'm repeating myself, but I'm once again going to say, for the last time, this deck doesn't have the capability to make so much used plays. So yeah, that's why I'm running only 1. And then the last extra deck monster, you already saw it, it's Barlow Dragon, because it makes sense. And that pretty much does it for the extra deck. And that also does it for the deck profile itself. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, it's really helped the channel. Hopefully I haven't taken way too much of your time, because I still want to explain, and you already know that every single time that I'm doing the first video of a deck profile, I am explaining everything. So I'm sorry for that, but hope you guys enjoyed it once again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember, creativity is the key in this game. Have a good day, guys.